Hello everyone and welcome into today's video where we are checking out the Tesla stock price charts. First of all, we will do this technical analysis and then I will show you also some news about Tesla from the past week or so. So stay tuned for that one. And just before we start, I would really appreciate if you smash the like button to help me with the YouTube algorithm to reach more people. Thank you for doing so, and let's jump into the video. So first of all, let's take a closer look at the charts. Here we can see was the last video I was talking about a possible false breakout over here, but to my surprise the Tesla price jumped on Monday very high over here and stayed pretty much the whole week above this very important trend line. We zoom a little bit out, that's the downtrend trend line from the beginning of January, and from about the middle of February we've actually been under this trend line for the whole time, so breaking this trend line is very significant. However, there is still this second trend line which has an upward trend which goes way back to April 2020, so almost a year ago. So this is also very significant long-term trend line, and we were crossing back and forth over this trend line in the past few weeks, also on Monday, but also a couple of times before here at the end of March and also in the beginning of March where there was this big sell-off in Tesla shares. And in the last video I was talking about it would be very difficult for the Tesla stock to surpass both these trend lines at the same time because we were under both of them, so they were acting as resistances. However, after crossing this first one we've managed to stay above it, and on top of that on Monday we also seem to be breaking out this second resistance, so that's quite a bullish development in just a week. If we manage to stay above this, that would leave us a huge room for growth in the near future. However, we are still quite a long way from the all-time highs at $900 range, so we will have to wait for that one. But as always, I think it's important to check out the stock market as a whole, so we are checking out the S&P 500 index, which to be honest was on a huge run in the past week. We've seen reaching all-time highs pretty much each day. We are now around the 4,100 mark, and this is very significant because if we look here, there is this resistance from this very large channel I was talking about before, and if we actually zoom out a little bit we can see this channel goes all the way to the 2008, and now for the first time we have one full green candle. This is the 1 week chart, so full 1 week candle above this significant long-term resistance, which is really incredible. Obviously still we have to wait for some kind of backtest, but now it looks super bullish and we are probably heading into a blow of top moves in the stock market. If we check out the RSP, which is the equally weighted S&P 500 ETF, we can see a pretty similar picture, but we've left those long-term resistances going all the way back to 2009 and 8, way before, so actually in the November-December, but this trend is continuing as well here on the RSP. And checking out the Nasdaq 100, we can see that there is actually a pretty similar scenario. After the last week's break, we've managed to stay above this long-term resistance and still heading higher, and Nasdaq is just barely now hitting all-time highs, so it looks all quite promising. And if we zoom out, we are currently above this long-term channel, actually in this new channel above this one, and we are starting to have a full 1 week candle above this as well, but also a backtest would be really nice before heading higher. And checking out the US dollar, we have pretty much a confirmation of this because we've managed to get below this significant support, so now we are under it here in between the support and the moving averages, and that means that this was a false breakout, and now it will be a lot better for the stock market because when the dollar goes down there is way less pressure on the stocks, and if the dollar goes up there is usually more pressure on the stocks and they don't move as much upwards. Basically you can look at this also as if a lot of funds are selling out of the stocks and putting their money into the US dollar. That would mean the dollar goes up, so from there comes the analogy that if the dollar goes up there is more pressure on the stock market. However, to check a not so optimistic outlook about all the stock market, I have the Russell 2000 again, and last week I was talking about this head and shoulder pattern which is showing up over here, and so far it is looking to be the case here. So maybe we are just before a larger correction on the Russell 2000, which would also put a lot of pressure on the whole stock market. And other thing which also plays into this theory about correction on Russell 2000 is this lower high on the MACD, which corresponds to a higher high on the Russell 2000 itself. So there is divergence, which means a change in trend, which in this case would be downward correction. However, we are still at this zero line, so there may be a crossover around the zero line, which is usually quite a powerful move. So maybe we can jump in a very strong move upwards like we did, for example, here. That was also pretty close to the zero level, and from there was a huge upside. However, I think we will just have to wait and see with this one. And jumping into some great news, we have the new Biden administration proposal to boost electric vehicle sales, which calls for $100 billion in new customer rebates. So that would be another nice boost for Tesla. There is also this $15 billion one to build 500,000 new electric vehicle charging stations. So the new US president is really trying to push EVs, which is obviously good for Tesla. But I think that Tesla is in a very good financial position already, so this would be just a very nice bonus. Also, in another news, Tesla announced the date for the Q1 financial results. As I mentioned in the last video, that we may see a date pretty soon, and it is scheduled to Monday, April the 26th, 2021. So from the preview deliveries, it looked very exciting, so I will be definitely checking this one out and making a short video after the event. But also you can check it yourself on these pages over here. I will put this article in the video description if you want to check this out yourself. And finally, we have a nice update about the Tesla Full Self-Driving Beta V9, which will have a pure vision without a radar. And this is quite significant because, as Elon Musk mentioned, with the vision system you have much more precision, so it is actually much better than a radar solution or a LiDAR, because sensors are just a bit stream and cameras have several orders of magnitude more bits per second than a radar. Therefore the radar would have to get much better to be worth of integration, and he thinks that as the vision processing gets better, it will just leave radar far behind. So these are some great news for this Tesla Full Self-Driving software, which is very revolutionary, and I think it's one of the biggest invention of our generation. So definitely very exciting, and the people who have the Full Self-Driving beta are leaving a very positive feedback. So I think it's all on a very good path with the Full Self-Driving. And this is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this short update on Tesla stock price and some news. If so, please smash the like button to help me with the YouTube algorithm to reach more people, and also consider subscribing for more Tesla content to come. I thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers!